She said, I still have feelings to resolve with him. You'd understand if you really loved me. I do love myself enough not to compete with her past. So I stepped aside, no drama, no speeches. Closure arrived quietly, stamped by silence and self-respect. Portland, Tuesday. Rooftop bar, heat lamps humming. A rented neon sign that says, good vibes only, already flickering. Megan, 28. Taps a mic they gave her for karaoke and raises a glass. I need to get closure with Zach. Let's try opening the relationship. A whoop from the patio table. Then the phone screens lift. Someone starts an Instagram poll. Give her a shot at closure? And tags me. A hard eyes gif bounces under it like legal consent. I'm Ethan, 31. Freelance designer, clean files, clean lines. I don't vote. I take a photo of the skyline instead and watch a drone drift past the Fremont Bridge like a slow mosquito. Laughter. Two friends chant grown-up honesty. One says, he's secure, he'll be fine. I can practically hear the story captions writing themselves. Growth, healing, closure. On the walk home, she sells it as maturity. Zach's back in Seattle, she says, key scraping the deadbolt. I just need to understand my feelings, like she's asking to audit a class. She calls me safe and steady. I hear placeholder. Something clicks. If you need permission to compare me to your past, you've already left. Not physically, not yet, but in the way that matters. I don't make scenes. I draw lines. Transparency isn't a passcode. It's a mirror. She thinks she won with the speech. I nod, pour water into the fern, I keep near the balcony door, and put my phone on Do Not Disturb. While she showers, I open notes and start a list titled Openness, Mutual. The list gets procedural fast. Item 1. Condoms, hers are expired. Mine are new. Item 2. Testing, urgent care on Burnside, $95 cash. Timestamp in my calendar. Item 3. Boundaries in writing. If we're open, then so are calendars, locations, and rent splits. I write it like a design brief. Scope, risks, deliverables. I am not playing sheriff. I am building an exit ramp that's wide and well lit. Receipts matter. I screenshot her poll and the comments, be free. Men are so controlling. I name the file 2025-09-16_story, PNG, and drop it into a fresh folder /openness. I export the lease PDF, highlight the clause that says overnight guests beyond 14 consecutive days require written consent from the leaseholder. That leaseholder is me. She pads out in a towel, steam curling around her ankles. So, she asks, can we try? Her face is hopeful in the way people are hopeful when they've decided already. I say, thanks for the clarity. Then I say the thing no one expects. Yes. And I mean it as a mirror, not a gift. Ground rules, I add. Both of us. In writing. I list what I've drafted: testing, condoms, calendar events labeled with initials, no overnights here without my written okay. No shared passwords with strangers, no borrowing my car, no bringing anyone into our friend group to avoid fallout. She blinks at written. She calls it cold. I call it adult. She texts Zach while I type. The name lights the screen. I note the time. 10:42 p.m. I don't ask what she writes. I book a solo weekend in Bend for 2 weeks out. Receipt in my email, $412, non-refundable. If we're open, we're open. I also email the landlord, subject line, clarification on overnight clause, and ask for acknowledgement that I control visitor approval. He replies at 7:06 a.m. with a thumbs-up emoji and per lease, yes. I set alarms. I buy a brand new toothbrush and leave it in the laundry closet with my camping gear. Not a threat, a contingency. I move my passport from her dresser to my desk drawer. I cancel the couple's pottery class and book 2 extra client calls into my Thursday. I say less and document more. She tells our group chat we're consciously exploring. 3 heart reacts. 1 proud of you. I pin the thread. At 1:13 a.m., a DM from one of her friends. Don't be weird about this. I don't reply. I am busy building rails. In the morning, Megan is bright, humming, coffee in my Chemex, her hair in the messy bun I used to think meant home. She says, "This will make us stronger." I stir, watch the bloom deflate. I say, "Then let's be precise." I send her the doc. She schemes, says I'm killing the vibe. I say I'm leaving the vibe alive by keeping the house intact. Before noon, I order an at-home STD kit, label on the box with my P.O. box, not our apartment, because I don't want packages mixed with her closure. I change my phone lock screen to a checklist. I set Find My to share my location and invite her to share hers. She accepts, then turns it off an hour later. I take a screenshot. I'm not jealous. I'm careful. If the door is open, I want to know the hinges. If she walks out, I want that sound saved. And if she stays, I want the staying to be a choice, not an accident of momentum. Brooke is not a vibe. She's vitals, triage, chart, discharge. 30, ER nurse, kickboxing shoes lined up under a bench like scalpels under a drape. The brunch in Boise lives in my head, her fork down, eyes on Megan. If you blow this, I'm not letting this guy slip. Laughter then because it sounded like a bit. It wasn't. 2 years back, her wedding vaporized in a weekend. Dylan, finance hair, soft hands. Took Miami like a dare and lost. One of the bridesmaids posted chaotic good clips. The hotel carpet pattern matched the background of a selfie nobody should have taken. Deposits gone. Venue $3,800. Catering $2,600. Brooke's dad quiet for a month. The part nobody outside the chat saw. One name that kept looping in screenshots. Megan. The drunk mistake that lasted from April to July. The captions changed. The behavior didn't. When Megan pitched closure, the puzzle clicked. Take what isn't hers, call it growth. Back then the script read, "Forgive me, I was drunk." Now it's, "Be mature. Let me get closure." Same dialogue, new set dressing. I don't do moral speeches. I do documentation and boundaries. So I texted Brooke, "Coffee? I'm not looking for drama. I need history and a plan." She called from a hallway that sounded like an ambulance bay. End of shift in 40. Pine State. I said yes. She arrived with hair in a knot, scrub top under a parka. 3 missed calls from Megan on her lock screen. "I'm supposed to be neutral," she said, breath fogging. "But I don't do neutral when my name's in their alibi." We ordered biscuits and black coffee. I laid it out clean. Rooftop pole, closure, my signed lease control, the mutually open document. Her eyebrows climbed at written rules. "Good," she said. "Adults sign for narcotics. Adults can sign for sex rules." Then she pulled receipts. She had a folder, literal manila, labeled Miami/D, out slid printouts, Venmo notes, sunset shots, $28 from Megan to Dylan. A group text export where Megan typed it was a kiss only, and 2 weeks later, we need to talk with Dylan's name above a location pin. Brooke tapped dates with a fingernail. I would have forgiven drunk. It wasn't drunk. I asked what she needed from me. Facts, she said. No triangles. If she says closure, you say calendar invite. If she tries to bring him into your apartment, you enforce your lease. If she plays be a man, you answer, I am. Here are my boundaries. And if she rewrites history online, I will post timestamps. I told her that in Boise. I meant it. Our nurses talk like traffic cops. It helps. She also offered to tell. Megan relabels her guilt as a crusade. In 2023, it was don't punish me for healing. In 2025, it's don't be small. Be open. The chorus, friends with ring lights, will harmonize on schedule. They'll call you controlling, Brooke said. You'll want to explain. Don't. Let your paper trail talk. We made a list. My side. Maintain separate funds. Keep car keys separate. My Civic. Title in my name. Consent in writing for any overnight guest. Full STI panel copies stored in a shared drive with view-only access. No overlap with friend group. No disparagement online. Her side. Brooke would not be my therapist. She would be my witness if Megan tried to burn the house down and swear it was a candle. At 12:11 p.m., Megan texted me a selfie outside a cafe in Fremont, Seattle. Talking soon. Be proud of me. Heart hands. I showed Brooke. She exhaled the way you do after a code. She wants you to hold the rope while she tests the ice. Then Brooke did something I didn't expect. She slid me a small voice recorder. I use it for chart notes when I'm fried. Legal here to record if you're a party. When people backfill, the tape stays the same. I didn't argue. I bought her biscuit to go. Outside, she hugged me, quick and almost professional. I am not taking you, she said, recalling the brunch line. I am taking your side. Then she added softer. If she calls me to triangulate, I will tell her to read your document. On the walk home, my phone lit up with the promised chorus. Be supportive, from Kayla. Don't cage her, from Sasha. A DM from Zach himself. New number. New humility. We're just talking. I screenshotted, archived, muted. I added Brooke's points into my doc under a header. Sisters Facts. Subhead. Past predicts. When I reached our door, Megan had taped a post-it over the peephole, heart with an arrow. Art school cute. I peeled it, stuck it on my notes app cover, and pressed record. Boundaries aren't mean. They're triage. If she can't stop the bleed, I can at least stop the spin. Starlight Diner on Main. Steel mugs, cracked red vinyl, a jukebox looping Elvis. Brooke in navy scrubs, badge flipped, no pleasantries. I lay it out like a chart. Rooftop pole, closure. If you loved me, you'd understand. Zach's return to Seattle. Her face moves from doubt to a tired recognition, the kind you get after a double shift. Same patient, new day. She breaks down Miami like triage notes. Caught, she says. Tears, then my parents tried the because family talk, then secret meetups. She scrolls to an old note on her phone. Dates, times, a photo of a cheap hotel headboard. She taps the screen. If Megan wants a license, something already started. She needs moral cover so she can call it brave. I sip burnt coffee and propose symmetry. You want open? I say. Open is two-way, not a tantrum, an experiment with controls. She watches me think, sees the design brain laying out columns. Okay, Brooke says, a small, sharp smile. Make it a mirror they can't ignore. We plan like adults. That evening, she'll drop by to say hi at 7:15, no ambush, just eyes. I'll reactivate one dating app. Not a ghost from college. Someone new. I set parameters. Age 26 to 34, 3 miles, no friends of friends to avoid crossfire. I toggle show on Instagram off, but I prepare a clean IG screenshot of my profile anyway. If the rule is openness, the artifact is proof. At 3:06 p.m., I open Hinge. Photo of me at Smith Rock, one at a client's office holding a Pantone fan, one in the kitchen with the Chemex. Prompt. My ideal Sunday. St. John's Bridge walk, dumplings, sketching. Within 20 minutes, a match. Asha, 29, data analyst, dog named Fig. Her first line. That bridge shot is perfect. I reply, thanks. What color is Fig if you had to pick a Pantone? She sends 7,499C. We laugh. I screenshot the match screen. Date, time, her opener, my reply. I don't send it to anyone. I drop it into /openness proofs. I also print my rules doc 2 copies. Title, Mutual Openness, Scope, and Logistics. Sections, Health, Scheduling, Home, Finances, Social. Bullets. STI panel share, condoms, calendar invites labeled with initials, no overnights in our apartment without my written consent, no borrowing my car, 2018 Civic, title and insurance in my name, no using the friend group as a dating pool, no public disparagement. At the bottom, any breach reverts us to monogamy or separation. Your choice. Mine is to enforce the lease. At 6:52 p.m., Megan texts, running late, talk went long, be kind. I thumb received. At 7:10, Brooke knocks. She brings oranges from the break room and a look that says she'll keep calm until the facts lie. We keep the lights normal. I angle my laptop so the calendar is visible. A beige block tomorrow 5 to 7 p.m. labeled EA. Megan arrives at 7:26. Windblown, dewy, the jacket I bought her in March. She kisses my cheek and clocks Brooke. Oh, she says, family night. Brooke raises her bag. Dropping oranges. Megan's eyes flick to the table, 2 copies of the doc. What's that? She asks, already bristling. Boundaries in writing, I say. For both of us. We sit. I slide 1 copy over. Megan schemes. Stops at no overnight guests here without written consent. That's controlling, she says. I point to the lease clause highlighted on page 3 and to the email from the landlord at 7:06 a.m. giving me thumbs up. It's compliance, I say. I'm honoring what I'm liable for. She tries the script. If you loved me, you'd make space. I answer with a different kind of space. I turn my laptop and show the calendar block marked EA. She blinks. Who's A? A match, I say. Openness both ways. First coffee, public place, no overlap with friends, no bringing anyone here. I'll send you the location and time. I expect the same transparency with Zach. She calls it weaponizing openness. Brooke leans back, quiet as in 4-pole. I slide over my screenshots. The Hinge match screen with timestamp, our banter about Pantone, nothing racy. This is not revenge, I say. This is an instructional poster. Megan's voice drops. I thought you were secure. I nod. Secure enough to be precise. I point to the health section. Full panel, both of us. Test results uploaded before anyone touches anyone. No exceptions. She glances at Brooke, who stays neutral. This is so clinical, Megan says. Yes, I say, because hospital charts beat ghost stories. I add the final term. If you disable location again, we revert to the lease rule. No overnights, period. If you bring Zach here without written consent, I'll change the locks under the guest clause and ship your box to your sister. Brooke stands. I'll go, she says. So you two can pick your experiment. At the door, she turns to Megan. Don't say he's punishing me for healing. He's preventing a fire. Read the document. When the door closes, Megan looks at the calendar again, then back at me. So you're really doing this? I nod. You asked for open. I'm opening the door I'm liable to close. She exhales long. Send me the doc, she says. I'll read it. Check your email, I say and press send. At 7:15 sharp, Brooke steps in, jeans, gray hoodie, clean ponytail, hospital tote. She sets oranges on the counter like triage supplies. Megan tries small talk, overbright. Weather, the new Thai place on Alberta, a meme about chartreuse nails. I keep the living room neutral, lamps on, TV off, the lease folder on the coffee table like an anchor. Brooke doesn't sit right away. She pulls out her phone, face down, then looks at Megan. Meg, funny thing, she says, flipping it over. I reinstalled Hinge and looks like Ethan and I matched. She slides the screen toward us. It's the app's green check with our faces and the timestamp, 3:26 p.m. My opener on the chat reads, probably not for long. She wants to open things with her ex, so I'm opening too. The silence is a hot wire. Megan goes red, then pale, then blotchy, short circuit written on skin. Family is off limits, she snaps, voice pitched up. I keep my hands open on my knees. Then exes are too, I say. But you asked for a license. I am using the same DMV. Brooke breathes like a nurse about to push epinephrine. Miami, she says steady. Let's stop pretending. She doesn't raise her voice. She lists dates. April 14th bachelorette arrival. April 16th balcony selfies. April 17th the kiss only text. April 30th hotel receipt for 2. She quotes dollars. $3,800 venue deposit dead. $2,600 catering unrecoverable. $180 champagne split that Megan Venmo'd with a winky face. She names the hotel Safkama and the rug pattern. She doesn't look at me. She looks at her sister and keeps going. Megan tries tears first. They come easy, always have. I was lost, she says. I thought Dylan loved me. I was drunk. Brooke shakes her head once. Drunk doesn't schedule midweek meetups for months. The room shifts the way a plane cabin tilts when the captain banks without warning. Masks slide. When tears don't move us, Megan pivots to rage. This is cruel, she says to me. Manipulative. You're matching my sister to punish me. I fold the lease folder closed with 2 fingers. It's symmetry, I answer. You asked for a license to maybe. I removed your right to control who else gets a license. No one's using the car without insurance. She calls me cold and Brooke a traitor. She says, you two have always liked each other. Like it's an accusation that predates daylight. Brooke stands into it. I like adults who don't burn other people's lives and call it healing, she says. Clipped. This is a mirror. If you don't like your reflection, change the angle or change yourself. At 9:03, Megan grabs a blanket and claims the couch, face to the wall, phone lit under the fabric. Notifications ping like rain. I start a diff in my head, before/after. Before, we were a team picking tile samples. After, we are litigants measuring edges. I update our shared calendar, EA 5:30 to 6:30, ristretto roasters. I airplay it to the TV so there's no claim of surprise. She doesn't look up. At 11:41, the phone finally quiets. I turn off the lamp and leave her the good pillow. I lay in our bed and stare at the ceiling texture like it's a topographic map out of town. The door stays open. I'm not barricading. I'm documenting the drift. Morning at 6:52, my phone buzzes. Megan, from the couch. It was a test. You didn't fight. She's turned toward the cushions, hair tangled, thumbs fast. I type nothing. I've learned that test is a word people use when they outsource their courage and want you to fail for them. By 8:10, the chorus clocks in. Kayla, #red flag. Sasha. He's not a man if he needs rules. Lark, real love doesn't spreadsheet. A DM from a semi-stranger. Let her breathe. I screen capture and file the shots under /openness, chorus with timestamps. Facts are calm. Screens don't shake. Brooke texts separately. You okay? I answer, steady. She replies with a single emoji, a hospital chart. Then, no contact from me unless she asks for accountability. I send a thumbs up and a photo of the lease clause highlighted. The paper keeps me from drifting into the performance. At 9:30, Megan sits up, puffy-eyed, gives me the long exhale that used to precede apologies. I didn't mean it, she says. I just needed to see if you cared. I pour coffee into 2 mugs, set one near her hand, leave it there like an option. Care isn't measured by how loud I chase you, I say. It's measured by the stability I protect for both of us. She stares at the TV where the calendar block still sits like a beige island. You're really meeting someone? Coffee, I say. Public place, no overlap, health protocols. You'll get the location pin at 5:15. I expect one for Zach. Her jaw works. You are impossible, she says, reaching for the mug. Or precise. I check my watch, 10:02, and open my laptop. I file the night's messages, flag the test text, and slide my passport into my backpack. Not because I'm running, because adults pack before the weather turns. 3 days later, Brooke checks in between shifts, 11:07 a.m., voice hoarse from mask time. Vitals? She asks. I answer like a chart. Sleeping, eating, working, lighter already. At 3:40 p.m., Megan texts that she's coming by to work it out and arrives with her mom in tow, cardigan armor and a casserole. Let's talk like adults, Mom says, settling onto my sofa like it's mediation. I pour water, set coasters, keep my tone level. Does your mom know about Dylan? I ask Megan. And the $6,400 in deposits your mistake burned? The room shifts. Megan stares, Mom blinks. We didn't realize it was that bad, Mom says finally, voice small. Thank you for the honesty. She touches Megan's knee. They leave with the casserole on their lap, and my apartment exhales. I keep my procedures. I package Megan's remaining things, 2 sweaters, the March jacket, her sketchbook, in a banker's box, inventory on top. I include a printout of the lease clause and a copy of our mutual openness doc with her signature blank. Pick up by 5 p.m. only, lobby desk. ID required. At 4:52 she arrives, head down under a beanie, signs the sheet, and leaves without looking up at the concierge camera. I save the lobby log email. A week after the living room short circuit, I ask Brooke to dinner. No games, no fog. Faux van at 6? I say. We go slow. No overlap with any dates before the ink dries on the breakup. We write the timeline. She smiles like someone hearing normal sinus rhythm after a storm. Slow and clear, she says. We sit near the back under a photo of Ha Long Bay, both our phones face down, both of us naming our fear. The story others will tell versus the timeline we'll actually live. We agree on rules. No hand-holding in public for a while. Calendar transparency. A 6-week check-in where either of us can say not ready without penalty. Feels adult, almost boring. I could cry from the relief. Meanwhile, Megan runs pain reports. A lip-sync TikTok about family betrayal. Then stories. Black screens, white text. My blood chose a man. I screenshot and file them. 2113, 2119, 2202. At 12:18 a.m., my phone rings. Brooke. She's in the hallway, she whispers. I hear the echo of concrete. Security is here. I throw on sweats and drive over. By the time I reach the Pearl, the guard has escorted Megan downstairs, polite and firm. There's a note in the building app an hour later. Incident October 3rd 014, non-resident disturbance. Escorted. No police needed. I export the PDF. Brooke leans against her door and laughs once. Exhausted. I work with actual emergencies, she says. I don't consent to manufactured ones. The next day, their dad calls Brooke. She puts it on speaker. We didn't realize it was this bad, he says, mirroring his wife's phrase. He's a carpenter, words measured, long pauses. We asked Megan to start therapy. Weekly, not when it's convenient. Brooke says thank you, and removes herself from the role of fixer. She blocks the toxic channels, muted group chats, the cousin who farms drama for content, and goes to the gym. I watch her choose her life and vow to do the same. 2 months in, my apartment is quiet in the best way. I've changed the couch angle, moved the fern, kept the lease folder but stopped opening it. I see Asha twice more. Pleasant, kind, no spark. We end with a hug and a good luck. I do Sunday dumplings. I bike the Esplanade. I finish a client project with a perfect handoff. Brooke and I keep to slow. We cook once a week, alternating kitchens. No overnights. At 4 weeks we write our timeline. Date of living room short circuit. Date of box pickup. Date we each stopped seeing anyone else. Our receipts could stand up in bad weather. On a Tuesday at 9:03 a.m., Megan emails a deal. Subject: let's reset. Body: I was selfish. Come back. But obviously you stopped seeing Brooke. That was always a low blow. I read it twice. I forward it to Brooke with the one-line preface we promised each other. Transparency drama. Then I reply to Megan with 4 sentences. I accept your apology. I'm not coming back. My relationship with Brooke is separate from your control. Please send any future communication about logistics only. The rest is with your therapist. The replies detonate on schedule. Kayla with a subtweet. Sasha with a story about men who divide sisters. I keep my silence and send my utility reconciliation. $121.34, her share for the last cycle, itemized, due by Friday. She pays on Thursday with the memo final. I send back a thumbs up and archive the thread. The absence of noise is not loneliness. It's proof of a boundary holding. Brooke and I meet at Jam for pancakes that weekend. We order too much, leave half, talk about everything except Megan. She reaches for my hand, then remembers our rule, and grins. Almost, she says. Almost, I echo. We're not rushing a new story just to drown out the old one. We're writing in pen, slowly, on clean paper. 6 months pass like a well-edited montage, receipts filed, rent paid on time, phone blessedly dull. Megan is posting a very mature guy from Sacramento who wears chore coats and says, "Honored," in captions. Good luck to them. I don't watch often. When it slips into my feed, I scroll past like a road sign for a town I don't visit anymore. Brooke and I plan small on purpose. A weekend in Astoria, Pilot House coffee, the column, a wind that slaps your cheeks into honesty. We pick a motel with a door that opens to the outside. It feels like optionality. Her parents invite us to their 30th. Her dad grills lamb and, when we're alone at the cooler, he says, "Glad someone in our family didn't miss out on you." I don't make it a moment. I just say, "Me too," and carry ice like punctuation. Friends separate into camps. Brilliant and too harsh. I'm not running a vote. The formula is boring and airtight. When someone asks for the right to explore others while keeping you as insurance, the only winning move is to leave the game. I didn't seek payback. I amplified reality. She bet the present on maybe with the past and lost. Not because I sabotaged anything, but because pasts rarely open into futures. They loop. I also closed loops. I asked the landlord to add Brooke as an approved visitor with no overnight permission implied. He added a one-line rider. I refinanced the Civic at a lower rate, title still solely mine, and set a reminder for the next DMV renewal. I consolidated the openness folder into an archive named /September Break, exported to a thumb drive, and slid it into my desk safe. Not to relive it, to keep my future self from arguing with my memory when nostalgia lies. Megan emailed once more, therapy updates, a shaded apology, a request to reset the family vibe. I replied with 2 sentences, "Thank you for the update. Please coordinate family events with Brooke. I'll attend what works and skip what doesn't. No theater, no courtroom. Just logistics." The anger I carried was a sparkler. It fizzled without oxygen and left one pinprick on the deck, already sanded smooth. Brooke and I kept our rule. Slow. After Astoria, we met her friends at a trivia night and left after 2 rounds when the vibe bent toward gossip. We drove to the river instead. Windows cracked. Her hand on the back of my neck when a song we both liked came on. We wrote a new document on her kitchen island. Not contracts, just intentions. Kindness first, candor always, no performative pain, no audience we didn't invite. We signed nothing and meant everything. The day peace arrived, it didn't announce itself. It was a Tuesday. I woke before my alarm, made coffee, and realized my chest was quiet. No courtroom rehearsals in the shower, no imaginary rebuttal outlines while buttering toast. My phone had 3 notifications. A client approval, a shipping alert for new sketchbooks, Brooks, bring a hat, Windy. I stood at the window and watched a crow hop along the fence with a straw in its beak, building without commentary. If Megan ever tells the story, I can guess her script. "He punished me for healing. My version fits on a postcard." She said, "I still have feelings to resolve with him. You'd understand if you really loved me. I do love myself enough not to audition for a role written for a ghost." I stepped aside, no scenes, no speeches. Closure arrived quietly, stamped by silence and self-respect. At their parents' anniversary, Megan stayed on her side of the lawn. I stayed on mine. No sparks, no storm, just weather. Her mom handed me potato salad and whispered, "Thank you," without specifying for what. Brooke's dad raised a glass and told a story about rebuilding a porch after dry rot. How the new boards didn't match at first, and then the sun evened them out. "Give good wood and time," he said. People laughed. I thought about calendars and proofs, about the patience of ordinary days. Anger is a leash, you hold it, it holds you back. Indifference is a gate you shut without slamming. I chose the gate. I kept it shut. Not against love, never that, but against the kind of test that asks you to drown to prove you're devoted. Tests are how people outsource their courage. I returned the assignment unopened. We drove home from the party with the windows down. Brooke fell asleep against the seat, steady breath, hospital fatigue unwinding. I checked my mirrors, took the long route by the river, and kept to the speed limit like a promise. My phone stayed face down in the console. The fern in the corner window at home needs repotting. The couch angle finally feels right. The rule I kept is simple and dull. When the person in front of you asks you to become smaller to make room for their maybe, don't. Make room for your life instead. Then live it.